What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Ash Brown, and this is the Ash Brown Uncensored Show. On this program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be pop culture related, but it's probably Ash Brown related. So you got to stay tuned to see what I'm going to talk about. Well, I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Heather Penny. She had me as a guest on her podcast show. Yeah, so we were talking about the workplace and marginalization and everything in between. And we talked about the most recent employer that I've left. And this was months and months ago. And I just told the truth, y'all. I didn't bash anybody. I didn't say any names. I didn't talk about company, affiliation, location. I didn't say anything about that stuff. I could have, but really, what would that have done? What would that have really given but just fueled the fire even more? But I hear that things are moving around over there. I heard that word of this little podcast show, this little feature that I did, has been getting people in a little bit of a stir. I think that's fascinating because sometimes it just needs to happen. Something out of the norm has to happen. That way change can be done. I am not against people changing. I think people absolutely have the capacity to change if they want to change. It is what it is. But yeah, I stand by everything that I said on it. And there was a lot more that I could have said I didn't say that I'm going to talk about now. So that company is very divided. Very, very divided. And when I say divided, people that are part-time workers don't feel appreciated. They don't feel as though they're a part of the family. They don't feel as though that they're important. So that's why a lot of them drop off. I met a lot of part-time workers there that felt like they weren't appreciated. They were, second-class citizens. And I was like, no, it's, everybody there. They're like, no, stay here long enough. You're going to see for yourself, Ash. Things ain't great. They're not. And there was a question about someone being racist. Oh, they're against brown people, they're against black people, or against whoever. I can't speak for that. I can't say that a person is racist. What I can say is they have a nasty attitude. They have a nasty attitude to everyone. I've seen this person just go off in all kinds of ways at someone that was the same race as them, which wasn't brown or black. So I can't speak to say like, oh, this person is racist. I think it's more of a superiority complex. I think there's something mentally going on and it's deep and embedded. I don't know. Maybe daddy didn't love them. Maybe they don't know who daddy is. I don't know. I do not know. And it's no longer my problem. It wasn't my problem to begin with. But there are a lot of people walking around with mental illness. Mental illness is a huge issue. It is. It's a huge issue. It's a huge problem. And it's something that people should look into. It's not just saying the words. It's actually going and doing the work. Going and talking with someone. And even if it's not that you're going to get medication, sometimes speaking things out can help a lot. Can make a difference. So it's not even about, oh, I don't want to be crazy. You're not going to put me on Prozac, blah, blah, blah. But you need to find out where that anger lies. Why does that anger exist inside of you? That's a huge, huge issue. So I can't speak to say whether or not a person is racist because I don't know. And I can say that I witnessed this person do a lot of crazy, random things. Just crazy, random. Like, I overheard them speaking to someone as they were interviewing new people to hire. And they refused to hire someone because they had the same wedding ring as them. And I was like, wait a minute, am I hearing correctly? Like, it just loud and proud and just completely boisterous with it. They said they wouldn't hire the person because they had the same wedding ring as them. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's really messed up. That's really crazy. And I'm like, yeah. And I was talking and she was so interesting and she had all these credentials, but then I realized that she had the same wedding ring as me and I couldn't focus on anything else. How messed up is that, y'all? How toxic is that, people? Tell me how toxic is it? This is something that I witnessed, and I remember thinking, what the heck did I get myself into? What is this that I got myself into? I knew within a month that I was going to leave. I knew I was not staying in that environment. Everyone was biting their lip, turning the other cheek, turning their head the other way, and acting as if what was going on wasn't going on. Everybody's doing it. Everybody. So I made a plan to get out. I'm going to take my lunch, go somewhere quiet, maybe even go outside, do some interviews. I was doing interviews on my lunch break because this place was hellacious. I can't even tell you, especially towards the end when I left, how many days I didn't take time out of a day to go cry because the environment was so toxic, so incredibly toxic. And this person challenged me in the craziest ways possible. They challenged my integrity. They challenged my character. They challenged me as a person. They insinuated that I was lazy. You don't do that with Ash Brown. No, please. Donna's daughter? Are you crazy? You must be on that stuff. You got to be on that stuff. So I took notes the whole time. The same way she was acting like she was taking notes on me, and she probably was. Got a cute little file somewhere. Yeah, what's that doing to you now? How good is that to you now? But this person was sick. I already knew. And as time went on, I started to see how the rest of the unit was also just really sick and toxic. And that was not a place that I wanted to be. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And just like I said on the program, I had planned to put in my 2 weeks notice because that's what I always did. Whenever I left a job, always give my 2 weeks notice. That's just been a standard for me. But as I was, proofing, and I had been just editing a resignation letter for weeks and weeks, probably even a month or so before. I kept drafting it. And I was texting it to my friends. Okay, how do you think about this? What do you think about that? And after I did that final draft, a part of me was just like, it just felt so heavy. And there was no freaking way I was going to be able to be under this person for the next 2 weeks and not crack. The scariest part for me, and I think the main validation, is the other person that came to me and was like, look, I saw you pacing. I called out to you. You didn't respond. It was like you didn't see me. I had never done that before, y'all. And I had had mental issues and things when I was in the military. Mama passed. Had a complete mental breakdown right there at basic. I don't really remember a lot from that time period. There's a lot of stuff that I don't recall and I don't even remember. However, I don't remember ever blacking out like that. Like, never. Like, I can't think of a time that I did that. So the fact that I had checked out, I needed to remove myself. Because at that point, if I'm not knowing what I'm doing in my off time or break time or whatever time, it's pretty possible I'm capable of anything. I had to do what was best for me to preserve myself and to preserve my freedom. Because once you do something, you can't undo it. It's a wrap. And I didn't want to end up in Gwinnett County Jail, where my mama worked, with the shame of it. I did not want to end up like that. So while I had a couple of offers on the table, they weren't necessarily what I wanted, but I had to get out of that situation. So I edited it that day, and I told everybody goodbye, everybody that I was in communication with and that I would hang with and all those things. Told them all my goodbyes. And I got the heck up out of there. I had security walk me out the front door. Sure did. I certainly did. But that place was toxic. It was hostile. And it was unhealthy. Never been in a workplace where I could say it was unhealthy to be there. It was not a good place. Not for me. I can only hope that the next generations that are there now or that will come through or whatever, that they have a better experience and it's not so toxic. But only time will tell on that. Only time will tell. Because like I was saying, management and people there, they know what's going on. They are fully aware of what's going on. But they haven't acted yet. I don't know. I mean, it'll be pretty fascinating to see what will or won't happen, but something needs to happen. That place needs some new blood, some young blood, and someone with vision, someone with compassion, someone with empathy, and someone that wants to see that place grow. It has potential to be a really awesome place, amazing place. But as long as it's being led by the blind, guess we really don't know what's going to happen there. So that was my little blurb for the week, darling. It's fascinating. I'm on to bigger and better things. Darling. I'm so much better. So much better. But I just wanted to share that because it tickled me pink. Because I was like, again, I'm not even worried about that situation and what is or is not happening. And it's kind of hilarious that my name is coming up and I'm not even there. I haven't been there in months. And y'all worried about little old me. Worried about my little podcast episode that I featured on somebody else's show. My little episode. That's hilarious, honestly. I think that's pretty funny. This is pretty funny. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing better. Hope everything's going good. But on to the next. I don't have time for that stuff. I don't give it any energy. We keep it going. We keep it moving. I love y'all. Thank you for checking out, of course, ashsaidit.com, ashsaidit.com, all that good stuff. And yeah, baby. Have a great, fantabulous, purposeful, peaceful, and plentiful week. Plentiful. Yes, plentiful energy, darlings.